Most people have fantasized about being famous. There's something enticing about everyone knowing who you are. But there are definitely parts about being famous that aren't anything to be jealous of. And the famous lifestyle is not something that everyone can handle. Right now, I'm counting on the top 10 celebrities that don't like being famous here for you on IO. What is gravy? You're watching InformOverload, your one-stop shop for trending news updates, tea-spilling top 10s, and cringy potato jokes. Potato. I'm Charlotte Del Rey. Subscribe for a different take on the news. Follow us on social media and is that everything? Oh yeah, turn on the bell so you get notifications. Okay? Be sure to let me know in the comments if you would ever want to be famous. Let's start off our list at number 10 with Daniel Craig. After Daniel's first Bond film, he started realizing the pressure of being famous. And famous he was. He was the face of one of the most recognizable franchises on the face of the earth, after being under the radar for many years. Daniel Craig has actually been open about the fact that he doesn't like playing James Bond, even though his films have grossed close to $1 billion at the box office. He said in an interview after Spectre came out that he'd rather break a glass and slash his wrist than do another Bond movie. All he wanted to do was move on. He did, however, add that the only reason why he would do it is for the money. Money that he was rumored to have agreed to. $150 million for 2 more Bond films. He also reportedly hates being asked if he likes his drinks shaken or stirred. Honestly, after hearing that joke every time you order a drink at the bar, I would probably hate it too. And every time someone says, oh, you want your drink shaken, not stirred, oh, it's like, yes, thank you. That was the 5th time I've heard that in the last 20 minutes. Next up at number 9, we have Jennifer Lawrence. Even though Jennifer seems really down to earth, there are rumors that when you meet Jennifer Lawrence in person, she is not the nicest. But that could have something to do with the fact that she, quote, is not okay with being famous. She said to Vogue, "If I were just your average 23-year-old girl and I called the police to say there were strange men sleeping on my lawn and following me to Starbucks, they would leap into action. But because I am a famous person, well, sorry ma'am, there's nothing we can do. It makes no sense." She added, "I'm just not okay with it. It's as simple as that. I'm just a normal girl and a human being, and I haven't been in this long enough to feel like this is my new normal. I'm not going to find peace with it." At number 8, we have Jack Gleeson, aka Joffrey Baratheon. Anybody else just think he has just the most punchable face? I'm sorry, he was Joffrey, like, he's so mean. I was so happy when he died. On the show. He died on the show. Ugh, you know, Jack Gleeson is one of the few celebrities that gave up acting and celebrity life. After his character in Game of Thrones was killed off, he announced that he was done with acting. He's actually become one of celebrity life's most vocal critics. He hates the idea of worshiping celebrities. And he said something that's pretty insightful. Celebrity worship is not only bad for the celebrity, but bad for the person worshiping that celebrity as well. In an interview, he said, I quote, "It seems that celebrities have become vessels of either, as I say, an economic revolutionary or sociological instinct to consume and imitate certain extraordinary members of society. We've seen how this reverence can have profound effects on both parties, oftentimes more negative than positive." That's definitely a smart way of putting it. It's so weird how we worship celebrities and we put them on these pedestals, but then we're also the first to tear them down. Jack Gleeson, unlike other celebrities on this list, said that he doesn't like acting because he doesn't like fame. He only started acting because it was, quote, something to do. I'm just gonna not respond to that. Here I am, taking Ubers back and forth across the city to get to the auditions. It's just something to do. At number 7, we have Zach Galifianakis. This guy is one of the funniest actors alive. Hollywood would be a much drier place without him. But in an interview with Conan O'Brien, Zach said that he thinks being famous is dumb and he has no interest in fame. Zach is a private person and he doesn't like being approached in public. He once said that The Hangover ruined his life and he can't go 5 minutes without being recognized. He joked that when he sees a group of teenagers approaching, he runs in the opposite direction. Same. Ugh, so famous. Oh, teenagers, ugh. He also doesn't like taking pictures with fans unless he's in the mood. Does Zach hate being famous? Or maybe he's just not a very nice person. Most people who know Zach personally say that his humor is like very rude, but he gets away with it because he has these like kind eyes. And he's Zach Galifianakis, so you know that everything he says is a joke. Zach doesn't have a publicist, he doesn't have an assistant, he doesn't act like a normal celebrity. You won't find him talking to the bouncer being like, "Do you know who I am?" I'm fine with that though. I think that's great. At number 6 on this list, we have Anne Hathaway. Even though she's been in a ton of huge movies and she won an Oscar for her performance in Les Mis, Anne Hathaway doesn't really like fame. That could have something to do with the fact that Anne is one of the most disliked celebrities out there. I gotta admit, I'm not really a fan of her either. I think she can be kind of insincere, to be honest, and that insincerity translates to her acting. I feel like she's putting on a performance even when she's just giving an interview. That being said, her performance in Les Mis was incredible. Like, she completely deserved that Oscar, like 100%. But after Anne won that Oscar, it didn't change people's opinion of her. In fact, it kind of made it worse. Anne claims that she doesn't know how to handle fame or how harsh people can be. She withdrew from the spotlight after she won the Oscar, and she's a lot more reserved nowadays. Halfway there, at number 5, we have Shia LeBouf. We've all become accustomed to Shia's antics by now, and he famously announced in 2014 that he was retiring from public life. In an interview with Variety, he explained this decision. He said, "As a celebrity, I'm not an individual. I am a spectacular representation of a living human being, the opposite of an individual." He also compared being famous to being a slave, adding, "The requirements to being a star/celebrity are namely, you must become an enslaved body, just flesh, a commodity, and renounce all autonomous qualities in order to identify with the general law of disobedience to the course of things." In other words, Shia basically believes that actors can't be themselves because they're expected to represent a brand, a movie, or TV show. Instead, Shia turned to performance art because he couldn't find another container/platform/discipline for individual expression and self-presentation. At number 4, Kristen Stewart. Kristen's acting career started when she was only 10 years old, starring in the film The Safety of Objects. She also starred alongside Jodie Foster in Panic Room. But the real fame came when she played Bella Swan in the Twilight Saga. She also started dating her co-star Robert Pattinson. So the fandom was obsessed and they constantly followed everything they did. Then Kristen found out how horrible fame can be when she was caught having an affair. She supposedly cheated on Robert Pattinson with the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, Rupert Sanders, a man who was married with children. Yeah. Kirsten's cult turned on her, she was labeled a homewrecker, and she was slut-shamed incessantly. She's also bisexual, and that comes with issues of its own. She was told by people in the industry that she would land bigger roles if she stayed in the closet. Honestly, not being able to be who you truly are because it would supposedly hurt your career must be a real buzzkill. Although Kristen doesn't like being famous, she does love acting, and she just wants to work. At number 3, it's Daniel Radcliffe. Daniel found out the downsides of being famous very early in life. He struck it rich by landing the role of Harry Potter at the ripe age of 11 years old. Being famous that young left Daniel with dealing with an identity crisis. He spent so much time being Harry Potter that he didn't know who he really was. In an interview, he said that he doesn't like being always approached by fans for pictures, especially when he's at the gym and he's sweaty. He's also admitted that he understands why other child actors have substance abuse issues. Drugs and alcohol are readily available when you're famous, even as a famous kid, and there's nobody around you talking about the consequences. Daniel's parents helped him keep his perspective, and also living away from LA in London definitely helped as well. I sometimes feel like you have to live in LA or New York in order to get into this business, but it's nice to know that some people choose not to. It must be pretty toxic, especially for people who are more about the art and less about the fame and superficiality. At number 2, Megan Fox. Megan Fox gave up a promising career in the spotlight. She appeared in blockbuster hits like Transformers, which also paid very well and came with a heck of a lot of fame. Her role in Transformers even got her the title of being a sex symbol. You think with all that fame, recognition, and money, Megan Fox would like being a celebrity, but she doesn't. She told Esquire magazine in 2013 that she hates fame. She said, "I don't think people understand. They all think we should shut the f up and stop complaining because you live in a big house or you drive a Bentley. So your life must be so great." What people don't realize is that fame, whatever your worst experience in high school, when you were being bullied by those 10 kids in high school, fame is that but on a global scale, when you're being bullied by millions of people constantly. She also said that playing a role of a sex symbol so early on in her life made her feel powerless. She didn't want to just be the hot girl, but that's how fans saw her. And at number 1 on our list, Johnny Depp. If anyone knows the difficulties of being famous, it's Johnny Depp. Especially lately. The bad press from his divorce is ruining his acting career, which is the only thing about being famous that he actually likes. Hopefully that will turn around eventually. Johnny Depp once compared being famous to living like a fugitive. In an interview with Today back in 2014, Johnny said this: "If I want to take my kids to the mall or walk through Disneyland or just walk the streets even, That's out of the question. It just doesn't exist anymore. And then you start to realize that for the past 10-15 years, you've been going into restaurants through the back door, scurrying along greasy floors, trying to get to some private room. It's not unlike living like a fugitive. When you put it like that, that sounds pretty accurate. It does sound like living like a fugitive. Johnny does appreciate his fans, but he hates being famous. Frankly, I don't really blame him, especially when it comes to raising children. Back in 2012, he said in an interview, "For a long time, I tried to manage an honesty and openness about my personal life because I'm human and normal. Well, semi-normal. But now my kids have access to the internet and are able to read truth, lies, total fiction, and rumors, and this whole thing has become a mulch of fodder. So I've decided to stay hush-hush. If the rumors spin, then let them spin." This statement might explain how Johnny responded to his initial claims by his ex-wife. He only sued after the claims affected his career. Alright, there you have it. What did you think of this list? Let me know in the comments. For now, I'm gonna respond to some comments from my video, Top 10 Celebrities Accused of Lightening Their Skin. Blackbird said, "Classy work, Charlotte. I can appreciate the way she dealt with the subject with sensitivity and accuracy." Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm glad you liked it. Pew Pew said, "This channel should just be a theory channel, pretty much what it is anyway. I theorize that there is going to be some tea today." Deborah said, "You are a lovely potato. I'd make a salad out of you." Oh, well, that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. That's it for me. Leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I'll see you guys next time.